Hello guys. Today we're going to learn about the scientific method. So if you read your directions before you started watching this video, you know that you need to get a sheet of paper and something to write with. I chose some colorful markers to write with, but you can choose a pencil or colored pencils. I don't think it's going to be best to use crayons because you're going to have to write some words. So if you want to get a pencil or some pens or some colored pencils to write with, go get those, pause the video and go get those right now. If not, we are going to start. What we're going to be learning about today is called the scientific method. So in the middle of our paper, we're going to write the scientific method. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of draw a line around that because that's the title of our chart today. And we're going to be filling in and making this a pretty creative anchor chart. Now what an anchor chart is an anchor chart is something that you can look back on while you're learning new material or while you're using it to answer questions later on. That will help you remember the information that you need to know. So in 4th grade this year, we're going to learn about the scientific method. And the scientific method is what we use when we're doing science experiments, when we're trying to find out an answer to a question that we have about something that's going on around us. So because of that, the first step of the scientific method, we're going to write a number 1. And the first step of the scientific method is to ask a question. And I'm going to just put little question marks all the way around here. So I know that the first step of the scientific method is to ask a question. So I might say, what will happen if I have 2 plants growing and I water one, but I do not water the other? That would be a question that I would ask. The second step in the scientific method is to make what we're going to call a hypothesis. So the second step is make a hypothesis. Whoops, Miss Wood forgot to add her E. Make a hypothesis. And usually that starts with the word if. If I water one plant but not the other, then I think the plant that I water will grow the tallest. So usually it starts with the word if, and sometimes it has the word then later on. Sometimes it might even say, I think that the plant I water will grow the tallest. The third step in the scientific method is you're going to do an experiment. This is my favorite part of the scientific method, is actually doing the experiment. So first, after I ask a question, and then I kind of make a guess as to what I think is going to happen, which is called a hypothesis, the next thing I do is an experiment. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to draw like a little table to help me know what this step is. I'm going to draw a little table, and I'm going to draw some beakers. Might have some smoke coming out of that one. tea kettle. Maybe I have a tall. Maybe it's got some bubbles coming out of it. So I'm doing an experiment. So I'm going to ask a question. Do I think a plant that is watered or not watered will grow taller? Make a hypothesis. What do I think will happen? If I water one plant and not the other, then I think the plant I watered will grow taller. The third is do the experiment. I'm going to test that out. I'm going to have two plants and I'm going to water one, but I'm not going to water the other. So I'm going to see which one's going to grow taller. So that is the third step, is actually doing the experiment. The fourth step in the scientific method is to collect data. And when I say collect data, I mean that's where I'm going to record what's going on in my experiment. Sometimes I might use numbers, so I might say the plant that I watered grew 4 inches tall and the plant that I didn't water only grew 1 inch tall. I could say the plant that I watered looked greener and the plant that I didn't water didn't really have much color. So I could describe it using numbers or by how something looks, feels, tastes, or touch. A lot of times when we collect data, we make charts. So we're just going to make a small little chart here. Well, let's make this into a bar graph. So I know that when I'm collecting data, I'm going to be using either numbers or how something appeals to my senses. I might record it day by day. So I might say on day 1, this happened. So let's draw a clipboard right here. I might say day 1, day 2, day 3. And then my final step, my fifth step for the scientific method, is I'm going to draw conclusions. This is where I report my results, what I actually learned or what I found out. So I might say I found, then I'm going to put dots. That means that I can continue with whatever the results were from my experiment. Maybe I could say I found that the plant that I watered grew taller. I could say I learned that when you water plants, they grow taller than when you do not water plants. So copy this anchor chart into your notebook. If you haven't been able to catch up, now's the time. You can screenshot this or you can pause the video and you can create this in your own. Once you're finished creating this anchor chart, this goes in the science section of your binder. Have a good day.